Hey everybody, 3KO Games here, and we have a balance update for February 2024 in Empires and Puzzles to talk about. It is Wednesday night where I live and when I am recording this video, and it's going to go live 6 a.m. tomorrow. So chances are by the time you watch this video, it's already live. It's not the most exciting balance update, but there are definitely some eye rolls happening here. One big eye roll is just the prose they have in this whole introductory paragraph. I think I just need to read it because it kind of makes me like blush a little bit with embarrassment because it's just kind of silly. So buckle up. I'm gonna crack open a beer. Do y'all remember Budman? Used to love watching Budman. So anyway, it's late at night. There we go. Drinking a Three Floyds Zombie Dust, very delicious IPA here. And anyway, reading this month, we have a Super Bowl buffet. Wow. For you. Strutting onto the field in the latest high-performance sportswear is the Champions family, some of whom are looking fitter than ever. Those Champions heroes, just a couple of them, are doing just fine. But anyway, facing them, the unfathomable oceanic horrors of the nightmares of Atlantis are buffed and match fit. On the sidelines, our favorite Toon mascot's boosted energy and enthusiasm is on full display. Our halftime show will be headlined by a swift and stealthy superstar, the sensational hero who broke out of the Ninja Tower and into our game last Black Friday with a reputation for never missing. It's the legendary Tamatomo. I don't remember Tamatomo, so I don't know that he's legendary. And it looks like, yes, we're going to add a little bit of buff to our tunes. Very interesting. So, out in the packed stands, we want to give a special shout out to our fabulous February fans who've been supporting the game for years. Finally caught on the stadium buff cam, Fortuna, Numbskull, and their little ones will be going home with some special boosts courtesy of our sponsor, Small Giant Games. Play on. Boy, okay, sorry, that just... If you're still watching, I apologize. You listened to that whole thing. Okay, so here are the details. Champion family bonus changed. It looks like they're realizing there aren't that many Champion family heroes yet. So let's give them a little bit more bonus for just having one of them. And cut back the skill or the bonus if they have three of them, which is probably not going to happen for most players at this point. So, Champion family heroes used to get additional special skill damage based on how many family members they had, 30, 50, 70. Now it's 35, so if you just have one, you're getting a little bit more bonus. 50, same in the middle, and 65% if you have three family members. Also, their passive skill has changed. They were all taking like mana generation ailment protection. Anytime you get like slow your mana down or stop your mana from gaining or whatever, and instead, boom, you're just going to get a mana buff that gets plus 30% mana generation for 3 turns, which was nice. This new skill is a little bit more all-encompassing, although it doesn't necessarily rewrite your ailment. The new passive is that a character with this skill receives plus 24 mana generation for 3 turns when they receive any status ailment or a negative stack. That doesn't say, though, that it rewrites anything. I think if you would get like mana generation down and then you receive plus 24 mana generation, that necessarily just rewrites that, correct? But, if you get defense down, you're still just going to have defense down, but you'll have faster mana generation. So there's that. Now, a few of these champion family heroes. Norman, I believe, was one of those. Was that one of those first ignoring dodge effect heroes? Might have been. I don't remember now. But more direct damage, 285% to 320. Anything over 30% is like, if you have that hero, you may perceive that, I think. Satori, I still think, is a great hero, and I don't know that we need to make Satori just like the game-changing sumo wrestler, but so you dispel a buff from a Satori, and his health increases now from 200 to the health boost increase is increased from 200 to 450 HP. We're getting 30% base direct damage increase. Nice. And direct damage against cleansers and dispellers. So you can't bring anything to get rid of ailments or buffs unless you want to get 630% damage dealt to you. Man, all right. So cheers to anybody who has Norman or Satori. Nightmares of Atlantis hero changes. Medea. Stats are just kind of adjusted, I think, making her slightly more defensive. I mean, very slightly. Taking 20 points off attack, adding 33 to defense, and 13 to health. So, I mean, overall, stats getting a little bit stronger. I like this part, though. The thing I didn't get about Medea was the shifting mindless attack being random, because I think she was a hit 3, and like one of those was going to get the mindless attack, and then would randomly, give it to somebody else once their mana was full. So now, at least the target, you get to at least aim for the target and give them mindless attack. Where they pass it on to, we don't know. This is very much like 4-star waddles, but that's okay. It's kind of a fun game to see where they put that mindless attack next. Damage is increased just 15% on the first cast. I don't think you notice it. Second cast onwards, 400 to 430%. Okay. When countered as a boss, I don't care. I'm sorry. All right. Atlantia has some stats increased here. Probably needed some kind of stat increase. I honestly have played against Atlantia, and I'm like, what does she do? I don't know. Let's just play. Let's just hit through her and see what happens. And I haven't had many problems. So, first cast, Corrosive Frost damage is increased from 123 to 158 for a total of 632 on that Corrosive Frost. And then an attack reduction is increased from just 7 to just 8 per turn. But over 4 turns, up to 32% attack reduction. On that second cast, it'll be a little bit more noticeable. Frost damage will total up to 888. Attack reduction will be up to negative 52%. And then when is encountered as a boss, I just don't care. Okay. Domi Ventus. Have not really seen Domi Ventus yet, although I thought it looked like he was going to be somebody who hits hard. So now he's going to hit a little harder. Everything increased. Attack 16 defense, 16 health. Ooh, 51. First cast direct damage is increased by 30%. Again, I think 30% is like, oh, I can see that. That looks different when he hits and I look at my enemies. Corrosive burn damage increased by 22 per turn. Over 4 turns up to 608. You don't really see it, but okay. That second cast now, direct damage increase 390 to 455%. You're going to notice that. And total corrosive burn over 4 turns is going to be, almost 100 in additional burn damage. Not bad. Let's talk about these legendary Toon costume bonus changes. I have to suspect that enough people are complaining about the Toon's 75% resistance to ailments and buff dispels that in the long game they may finally nerf that passive. But what they're going to do first is buff the costume bonus just a little bit. I can't imagine they're buffing these Toon costumes just for nothing. Their stats are so crazy high already. 35% attack, 35% defense, 60% health. Now going to 40% attack, 40% defense, 65% health. It's just insane. Especially in the interim, while, I don't know if my suspicions are correct, maybe eventually they do something about that Toon passive. But in the meantime, there's nothing being done about that Toon passive. They're just even stronger. So anyway, individual hero changes. Let's take a look. Tametomo, the legendary Tametomo. I still don't remember this guy. Evidently, most people didn't, because look at those stat increases. Over 100 in attack. Over 100 in defense. Darn near 500 in health. You'll remember him now. The special skill now never misses its targets. Great. I don't know what it did before. I could look it up. If you could comment below, I would appreciate it. Maybe I'll Google it later, I guess. But anyway, we have direct damage to target with more than 50% remaining HP decreased on first mana charge from 500 to 450%. Apparently on that first mana charge, that's all he does. But on the second mana charge, there's also a base direct damage or something. Or maybe it's also on the first mana charge and they're just not doing anything to it. But on the second mana charge, that's increasing by 50%, while the direct damage to target with more than 50% remaining HP is decreased by 50%. Third mana charge, direct damage, base direct damage increased 50%. I don't really know what that's all doing, but I can tell you this. Throwing stats up well over 100 and almost 500 on health means they're serious about that hero. And if you pull that hero, congratulations. You were thinking, I don't know, maybe. And now you go ahead and level that hero up and figure out what to do with him. That sounds pretty good. Okay. Hey, something about some February heroes of the month. Zelene, direct damage increased from 143 to 195%. Sizable increase, over 50. Don't really care about when encountered as a boss. And then the costume is also increased by 50%. I believe that's a damage all as opposed to a damage 3. Kunshin, who used to be the healer everybody would use in Rush Attack. Now I don't think anybody really uses him. But if you do, you're going to get 3% more direct heal. Hooray. Maybe that just puts him right over the hump as far as a certain tier of, not minions, fiends. There we go. Maybe there are some fiends that now he can actually heal completely away, because 3% just seems so random and low. Oh well. Jean-Francois. My brother used to love playing with Jean-Francois. He does some other interesting defensive things, but his actual attack and like burn damage thing, never impressive. And now it's still not impressive. Over 3 turns, it's going up like 20 a turn. Maybe 30 a turn. It's fine. Uraeus. We are increasing that direct damage by 50%. Sizable increase. You're gonna notice that. And then sand damage increased. That's just not a whole lot of sand damage over 3 turns. I think the direct damage, you will notice that increase. The sand damage, like, either do something or don't. That's not much. Iris direct damage increased by 50%. Okay. Viscellus, direct damage increased 50%. Poison damage increased by, almost 100 over 4 turns. It's still not the most poison damage. We just got done, talking about the new Shi Jing in the Journey family, and that kind of poison damage. Now, unless we're talking about that kind of poison damage, I just don't even want to hear about it. But good luck, Viscellus. Hey, other heroes. Fortuna, 30% more direct damage. And attack increased for the Fiend by 10%. All right. I thought, most of the time people just use Fortuna for the buff dispel. But there's some other stuff. And then Numbskull, direct damage increased by 50%. Minion is increasing attack by 5%. And then damage on destruction is increased from 55 to 85. I forgot that Numbskull did that. I wish I had a better picture of which heroes do something like that. The big one that I can think about is Sorrow. But, next time Arrow Wars come along, if you have a hero that does that damages or does something negative to the enemy when their minions are removed, those arrows, when they hit, are probably going to take out your minions. It's a good hero to play with. I don't think Numbskull is going on anybody's defense, but I don't know. Could use it on the offense. Little 30 HP. That's not doing that much. Finally, let's see. There's a bug fix for Fizz Coil that mana generation reduction no longer stacks with other status effects that modify mana generation. Not that concerned in whatever the heck that means. But, hey, these are our changes, our balance updates for February, everybody. yeah, a lot of kind of negligible things. Some attack, damage increases that are, make you at least open your eyes for a second. Hey, that's okay. And then these crazy buffs on the champion family, on Nightmare of Atlantis, and of course on our tunes. So there we have it. Hope that some of your favorite heroes have been affected positively, or at least not nerfed anywhere here. I don't think there was much nerf going on here. So thank you very much for tuning into the video, everybody. As always, I appreciate your support, and I hope to get to see you again really soon. Take care.